J.D. Crowe and the New South was an early band with Keith Whitley. And I think through Keith, Tony heard of us, but it was early on, maybe 82. That's the last year of Tank there that Tony started coming. Tony played there a lot. That's one of those early things of this conversation when we did sound kind of the old way, just kind of let's get it sounded, but damn, Tony would come in there. We would all be just like, trying to get the guitar not to feedback. God bless, and trying to get the guitar up. Those days, it was still primitive sound. None of all these, we got a DBX at one time going, we still got that DBX. They're worth some money now. Yeah. It's like, this is our ticket. And, but Tony played the heck out of the show. And then he hung around, and he would hang around and picking and just hanging out. Here, Ed, man, have you all heard Ed play the guitar? Yeah, here, play this. And it'd be the Clarence White guitar. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, nice guitar there, Tony.
What do you remember about the guitar? Anything in particular?
Just the daggum action was so smooth and easy. It's like, how do you get the guitar? I'm always struggling to get my guitar to play easier. It was like playing some kind of streamlined jet plane. It was good. That big old sound hole. Yeah, just holding it. I just strummed on a bunch of people in there, and it was great. He liked the down home. And then towards the end of Tony's life, I reached out to Tony after Doc passed away, because Doc had really set up the weekend before Christmas to have a special show, and people were needing it. But I reached out to Tony going, hey, would you be interested in just doing a week before Christmas show? Oh, Ed. Thank you for asking. That voice, but his arthritis had gotten bad enough that he didn't want to commit. Tony, good guy, easy, just another guy. Yeah, how you doing? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just different people just have the knack of not having too much pretentiousness, but you just kind of keep things going their way, and things are good.
Oh, did the crowds come out for Tony Rice?
They came out for Tony Rice, which made it harder for the sound, because you had a lot more bodies to soak up the sound and trying to get that guitar up over it. It usually worked out pretty good, but you had to stay your finger on it. And then we got lucky, at least for one show or two, Billy Wolf came, who produced all those early David Grisman records and Tony Rice, and he did sound. It's like, yes, please do sound. Let this be your problem. Yeah, sound in those days was like, whoa, oh God, they're coming. Okay, Norman's coming. Okay, easy. 2 mics, 2 vocal mics. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Hey, here's a little side story. So Keith Whitley with J.D. Crowe, which is a great band, but Keith Whitley and Tank hooked up together, being buddies. And Tank Keith was just kind of being open to Tank and us at the Down Home, going, I'd like to try to go to Nashville. And Tank goes, I'll take you to Nashville. Let's go to Nashville. Okay, Tank comes to Nashville. He goes and gets Keith an agent booking with Don Light, which was a big booking agent. He fucking goes and I think it was RCA, gets him a damn record deal. Now, you see Tank, he'll tell you that story, but it is a good story. It's like, Keith, let's do it. Let's just go. Tank may have gone down first and then set it up, and then Keith went down. And then I would see Keith in those early days, and Keith go, oh, hey, man, come on over to the house. I go, okay, thank you. I said, I'll see what I can do. In those early days, Keith was appreciative. But it amazes me. I love that Tank, that's how Tank was. And then in the early days of Newgrass Revival, coming in, they'd come in, Tank, oh boys, I love you. Oh, I gave them a ball. Okay, Sam, let's leg wrestle. So I got a good memory of Tank and Sam Bush on the stage, and they're daggum leg wrestling. So just shit like that. You know what I mean? It just makes the soul of things good.
Yeah.
You know, I love that about Tank.
People are going to get mad at me if I don't follow up and ask just a little more about Keith Whitley. What was he like just being around him back then?
Good. Sweet boy. He's older than me. But you could tell that he wanted to do more. He knew as far as he could go with JD. But he didn't know how to do it. And he took his chance with Tank. Oh yeah, I'll give it a try.
He was with Ralph Stanley before that.
Ralph Stanley, Ricky Skaggs, that band, Tony Rice, But Keith was a good guy. All of those guys in that band were good guys. I look at, Jerry Douglas came to the Down Home when he was 17 with the Country Gentlemen. And a few years back, Jerry's playing a solo show there, and he's back in the dressing room. God damn it! The only place I get nervous is Carnegie Hall in the Down Home. And he was nervous that night. The place packed out. That's where he met Jill. Jill worked at the Down Home, and it was a very sweet story. But Keith Whitley, Keith was good. I hate what happened, but Keith was just a good Eastern Kentucky fellow. He stood out because he was kind of bringing a George Jones to the bluegrass world. You could tell that he was kind of totally a country fanatic, bringing in that kind of texture. He wasn't singing a high, lonesome sound. He was crooning, And J.D. Crowe there, J.D. Crowe, man, what a great musician and just good guy. Yeah, he and this, my guy I mentioned earlier, Brother Dave, they really connected because Brother Dave was such a bluegrass guy. And Brother Dave was more in the generation of J.D. And they clicked. And, just lots of clicks, like Legos, people in so many different shapes of the sculpture that you can do with Legos. Kind of comes with a lot of the things that make the Down Home what it is, I'm always fascinated with the connections. People come in now who've not been there before, and they just sort of stand there and they go, wow. I go, okay, that's a good sign that they know what's going on here. Just a few years ago at a sound check, I come in, side door, Ramblin' Jack's over there in the middle of the room standing. I go, welcome back, Jack. I've never been here before. I said, yes, you have. No, I haven't. I says, yes, you have. I says, come here. We got his picture on the wall. I said, what's that? Well, I'll be damned. I love that. We were basically, no, you have. No, I haven't. We're starting to have that kind of attitude to each other. Anyway, it's pretty good.